From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Wednesday, November 29th, 2017. Silver is trading at $16.90 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,295 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 4.3 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $10,267. Antiwar.com reports during her scheduled Wednesday visit to Saudi Arabia, British Prime Minister Theresa May says she intends to challenge the kingdom on a number of human rights abuses and in particular will demand an end to the Saudi-led blockade of Yemen. Though international aid organizations have been deeply critical of the blockade, this will be the first time a top foreign leader has demanded the Saudis stop the blockade, which has been in place for 2.5 years and is killing growing numbers of Yemeni civilians. Britain has been selling growing amounts of arms to the Saudis throughout the war, which has raised concerns among some officials that Britain is effectively complicit in the war crimes going on in Yemen. A similar concern exists with U.S. support for the Saudi war, as the U.S. has sold the Saudis even more arms and has participated directly in the conflict and blockade. This concern has been expressed by some in Congress, but so far the U.S. leadership appears unmoved to limit their involvement in Saudi actions.
For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals. Gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. They don't feed the banks. They're Bitcoin preferred and have removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co.
UPI reports a former employee of a U.S. government contractor in Afghanistan who pled guilty to accepting kickbacks from a subcontractor in exchange for assistance in obtaining government contracts was sentenced to 21 months in prison on Tuesday. In July, 56-year-old Nebraska McAlpine of Smyrna, Georgia, admitted that he and an Afghan executive agreed to a deal that would give McAlpine cash in exchange for no-bid contracts. He pocketed more than $250,000 in the scheme. In addition to 21 months in federal prison, McAlpine will serve 3 years of supervised release and 100 hours of community service. The Department of Justice said as a result of the kickback scheme, the prime contractor paid over $1.6 million to the subcontractor to assist in maintaining the Afghan Ministry of the Interior ultra-high-frequency radio communication system in Kabul.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 is a nightmare to the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411, because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Get it today at getcell411.com.
Reuters reports more than a dozen former members of a New York fraternity chapter pled guilty on Tuesday to reduced charges and were sentenced to probation in the 2013 hazing death of a Baruch College freshman during an initiation ritual in Pennsylvania's Pocono Mountains. Chun Michael Ding, who was 19, died from head injuries while pledging to become a member of Pi Delta Psi, an Asian American cultural fraternity at Baruch in Manhattan. 17 former fraternity members appeared in Monroe County Court of Common Pleas in Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania on Tuesday, some accompanied by their parents. As a result of the plea bargains, 15 of them pled guilty to reduced charges, and the cases of the final 2 were continued. Judge Margarita Patty Worthington told the group, "You were better than this," urging their members to learn to think for themselves, saying, "Be individuals and do the right thing going forward. Don't get caught up in groupthink." Prosecutor Kim Metzger said 13 more defendants were expected to plead guilty on Wednesday, including Andy Ming, former National Fraternity president and brother of U.S. Representative Grace Ming of New York. 4 other young men linked to the case pled guilty in May to be accomplices to voluntary manslaughter and other charges. Last week, the Pi Delta Psi fraternity was convicted of charges including aggravated assault and involuntary manslaughter, but acquitted of third-degree murder and voluntary manslaughter, both felonies. Prosecutors and defense lawyers said it was the first U.S. conviction of a fraternity in a pledge hazing death. Ding died after being injured in a ritual known as the glass ceiling at a home the fraternity rented in the Poconos about 100 miles west of New York City. During the incident, he was blindfolded, wore a 30-pound backpack, and ran a gauntlet of fraternity members who tackled and knocked him down on the snow-covered ground in December 2013. The college students waited for more than an hour before driving him to a hospital. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.